All right, can you all see that? Yeah. Hi, my name is Franco. I'm the founder of Quit Yapping. So Quit Yapping is actually, it was built out of my YouTube addiction. I watch a ton of YouTube videos. There's so many videos that are like 10 minutes, 40 minutes plus videos, but I didn't have the time to watch all of these videos. So I wanted to build an AI summarization tool that summarizes all these YouTube videos and basically quits the yapping effectively. I believe that the best content that's not slop is long-form YouTube content, and I wanted to bridge that gap where people could explore long-form content, long-form quality with short-form snippets. So for example, this 7-minute video by Marquez, why do smartphone cameras feel worse? So if I expand that, you can, I'm not sure if you can see the text, but basically it just cuts down the stuff. You don't need to watch the 7-minute video. And what I'm trying to do is build a social media platform where you can still doom scroll but have quality content. And I built this using Claude. So over here, I used Claude Design to build these slides. It's a very useful tool. I spent about 50% of my weekly limit to build this. But going on to the slides right now. So how I first found about Claude. So don't come from a technical background. I was a product manager from a cryptocurrency company all the way in 2017. But the last 3 years, I worked in finance, specifically for financial reporting. So I heard about Claude all the way back in 2023. So a bit of trivia, Sam Bankman-Fried, the owner of FTX, was one of the biggest and earliest investors in Claude. He owned 8%, and then when FTX went bankrupt, there was a company called Oaktree Capital that bought the crypto, the cash of FTX. And eventually they sold it at maybe double the price, which was a good deal, but if they held on to it, they would have made billions of dollars. So it was just a reporting line on this Oaktree report that I saw, and that's where I first heard about Anthropic and Claude. And then later on, 2024, I tried Claude Sonnet 3.5. It was just the first time. I always thought that ChatGPT was the first. It was always going to be ahead. They had too much money. Sam Altman was raising billions and billions of dollars. And then when Sonnet 3.5 came out, I realized like a small startup, well, not really a startup, like a smaller company, maybe 4 or 5 times smaller than OpenAI at the time, could create a better product. And I believe Sonnet 3.5 was the best product in 2024. It passed the vibe check. Once it passed the vibe check, I got as the main AI guy and the youngest guy in my team. I brought everyone to start adopting Claude. We did a team plan all the way back in 2024 for Claude. Fast forward a couple of years later, financial markets didn't do so well. I had more time to spend with my family in April 2026. My wife's here right now, she's supporting me. But yeah, and I wanted to build an app. I wanted to pivot, but I've never written code before. I've always been in the space, but never really written code. The last time I remember writing code was like Hello World in high school. So it's been a long time. So when I wanted to build the app, I wanted to not just build the code itself. I really wanted to build a company. And one thing that you can do with Claude is that you can build an entire org chart of a company. I'm sure some of you work for large companies. You have your marketing and sales, your product and coding, your HR and admin, your accounting and finance. So what I did was through a bunch of MD files, I was able, in the paid Claude account, I just created a bunch of chats and then imported their personalities. So this HR and admin person is called Alex or something, or the strategy and planning, his name is Einstein. So sorry, some of them are named after dogs, so I just chat with them. But basically, I needed to create a real system of how to create a company, because it's not necessarily people or code that creates the company, that creates the app. You really need a whole division of personalities. So for example, when building this YouTube summarizing, I had to double check legal and compliance. Is it legal to copy and paste a transcript? No, we're not using a transcript, it's fair use because it's summarized already, so things like that. Design and UX, planning what the look and feel would be. Investor relations, I'm trying to fundraise right now, applying for Antler and a bunch of other applications. It flagged all these platforms to apply for. Infra and cyber, how much is hosting, what are the attack vectors, things like that. So it's more than just product and coding. I'm sure you'll spend most of your time on the product and coding side and planning it out, but eventually you'll need to think bigger, especially if you're just going from a prototype to an actual live product. So this is a bit of the basics, I'm sorry for the technical founders, but I just want to dumb it down for people like me that don't really come from a non-technical background. So what does an app actually need? So number one, it needs hosting. Hosting basically means somewhere in the cloud, somewhere on a server where people can access your app. A database, normally you can use Supabase for that. Basically, you need a place to securely store other people's information, and sometimes your service information as well. You need the code that's obvious, that's shown by a lot of other people. You need auth or authorization. Normally, you know that button that says sign in with Google, sign in with Facebook. You need, it's a lot easy for people to access that. You need a payment system to accept payments, accept subscription. That's how people brag about their ARR, annual revenue, MRR, monthly revenue, and all that. So you need the payments set up for that. You need an email connection, specifically when people sign up, they have to say, hey, welcome to the app. You need automation across all of these platforms so that it all works together. You need analytics, like for example, Google Analytics or Vercel Analytics to see how well your app is doing, who's typing what pages are doing really well, what words are doing well, and you need that to build a good summarization app. So here's the quick version of the QuitYapping stack. We use Vercel, Supabase, Next.js, Google OAuth, Stripe. These are the most popular. I would say these are one of the most popular tools that you can use. But feel free to look at the others as well. But basically, I asked Claude what are the best ones, and that's what I came up with. And so far, I'm happy with them. So here's how I assembled it. If you go back a few slides, I mentioned how I had 9 departments in my Claude chat, just researching, planning, drafting, one project per department. And then when it ran out of context window, I had to reloop and onboard a new clone of the new department. But that only happened like once every week and a half or so. The second part that I want everyone to know more to use is Claude Cowork. So not everything just lives on the Claude Code or the coding apps. You need something to set up your other systems. So how do I set up my database powered by Supabase? You can do that yourself manually, but I just uploaded it to Claude Cowork. So that's sort of the plan is. So Claude Cowork can do anything that needs a browser. If you trust it with your account, it can do a lot of things. From planning events, registering for investor pitches, contacting people, drafting emails. It can do a lot of work, especially that it saves you a lot of time, especially if you're a solo builder. And then the third tool that I use, I'm not using Claude Code, I'm not using Cursor. I'm using this new app called, it's called Orchids.app. It's basically like if it's a Y Combinator startup. Basically, imagine if someone built a Y Combinator company built Cursor, but purely for vibe coding, because it already ships pre-installed with integrations with GitHub, Vercel, Supabase, and Stripe, all wired up to your account. So it's one of the nice things that you can choose to open. There's a lot of startups that are using, but the main thing that I want to note is that I used Opus 4.6 to build it. I believe that Opus 4.6 is one of the best coding LLMs that you can use for building your code, but I had to always make sure that after shipping something, I had to review it with other coding platforms. So it's live right now on QuitYapping.com, but I suggest if you want to check it out, check out QuitYapping.com/explore. If you want to just check it out and see what the app does. If there's a niche that's interesting for you, feel free to browse. But that's sort of like the app that I'm building. A lot of people said it looks and feels like a social media app, and that's what I'm trying to do. But I'm trying to build a bigger community than just a scrolling app. I'm trying to build a curation community, or for example, if I know someone that's really into MMA fighting, that person can build a public playlist of MMA videos, and then that person who built that playlist can get a bit of the revenue sharing. So sort of like Spotify playlists, but for YouTube. And that's the vibe I'm trying to get. So yeah, if there's anything you want to do, if you want to build something with Claude, I'm happy to say that I built a decent app with Claude with just one person in 8 weeks. But if you're wanting to build something, happy to connect and happy to help you guys out. Oh, but yeah, thanks again.
All right, we have one question. So we have one question on Claudians. What is the key differentiator to Gemini? Because Gemini has access, and NotebookLM as well, has access to YouTube transcripts as well.
Yeah. So the main difference between Gemini, well, NotebookLM, you can look at YouTube videos, you can do a deep dive and ask back and forth questions. What we're trying to do is a more casual browse vibe in terms of answer. Our prompt engineering tackles the two things that you need, two things why you clicked on the YouTube video: the thumbnail and the title. So because you answered the thumbnail, because you answer why use smartphone cameras feel worse, because it answers the thumbnail and the title already, you don't necessarily need to click on the video. Gemini, owned by Google, owned by YouTube, gives you an overview. It doesn't summarize the video. It can give you a clue of what the video is about, but it's not designed for you to skip the video. So there's a financial disincentive for you to not. It still steers you towards watching the video. My one doesn't steer you towards watching the video.
And one more question. Have you faced or planned for any copyright complications with summarizing other people's videos and create another social media content out of it?
Well, I had my legal department review this. And basically, legally speaking, you're not, well, here's one thing you're not allowed. You're not allowed to paste the transcript and just put it there. So what we do is we get the transcript from a third-party app and backup third-party apps. We summarize it. That summarization turns into fair use because it is a summary, and then that's our IP. That's on the summary lives on our servers.
All right, amazing.
Oh,
we have a question back there. So the question is, how do you make money? How do you?
Yeah, right now in its current form, it's a productivity app. So you can summarize any video, and if you want to summarize more videos, you need to subscribe to the premium account. But eventually, the long-term vision is for it to be an ad revenue, to be an ad-supported platform for people who make playlists, public playlists. I want to focus on the curation part more, so anyone can build their own playlist. That basically YouTube right now has one algorithm for you. I want anyone in the community to build their own algorithm to share as experts. But that requires critical mass. But right now, it's a summarization tool. Let me just try to sign in and show you what does, because once again, it's built out of my YouTube addiction. And then this is how much time I've saved. Yeah, so basically it saved me a lot of time. I skipped a lot of videos and all that. But yeah, thanks.
Amazing. Thank you so much.